New case filings are actually increasing, and litigation is increasing. And I will agree, though, with Rose, the pressure on carriers and the pressure on developers is also increasing. And I think as we run down it, we'll see why. First off, when we look at number of case filings, certainly at a number of the plaintiffs' firms, and I see a number of my colleagues out there, our number of new case filings is continuing to increase. And the number of homeowners, if it's a single-family development, are substantially increasing in each case. And the reason for that is something that my colleague Jeff alluded to, and that is when you bought a house for $150,000 and the roof leaked and the window leaked, nobody really cared because all of a sudden it was worth $300,000 and someone else was going to come along and buy it. But now you bought the house for $150,000 and the roof leaks, the window leaks, and it's worth $64,000 somewhere out in Phoenix, Arizona, and all of a sudden the homeowners are very involved. Number one, they're stuck with the house, and number two, they're stuck with the house with problems. We're also seeing an increasing phenomena. We're seeing attrition in cases that we never saw before because of foreclosures. And every developer knows where these foreclosures are because I've actually had developers and their counsel tell me, why should I settle with you today? Because we did the financing on this project and 35% of the financing was junk paper. And therefore, they're all going to, 35% of these people are going to get wiped out. Which leads to an interesting legal issue that hopefully will be covered later, and that is, do those people still have claims? And I believe the answer is definitely yes. Under SB 800, there's one analysis, and under a pre-SB 800 analysis is an entirely different one as to diminution in value. We're also seeing a change in case mix. We're not just seeing condos, and we're not just seeing single family. A number of firms are doing a tremendous amount now of high-rise litigation. A lot of the high-rise projects, some of which are more than half empty because of the recession, we're seeing quite a bit of litigation occurring in that respect, particularly around the major cities in Arizona, California, and Nevada. We're also seeing a definite increase recently in condominium conversion cases. And the condo conversion cases offer basically what Rose was talking about, which is a panoply of legal claims. You're not having just the construction defect claim. You may have breach of fiduciary duty claims, which may be covered under a whole different type of policy, maybe an E&O policy. You've got fraud claims, which I think, as Mr. Masters commented on, may well not be covered at all. So we're seeing that coming up. We're also seeing a significant increase in municipal and commercial litigation. This is the Los Angeles Times from Tuesday of this week. If you'll notice, the top of the article is entitled, "Billions to Spend. Valley College Center's Many Flaws Typify Poor Oversight and Quality Control." So what we're talking about in our little mini industry is the front page of the Los Angeles Times 2 days ago. So it's topical, and it's very much in everybody's radar screen. Now, of course, you've got mediators, arbitrators, and potential jurors also reading these articles about poor quality and poor workmanship. So it's not just a hidden concept. It's very much out there. Cracked floors, leaky windows dampen the building's welcome. And that's really the plaintiff's theme, so I'd like to thank the Times for printing that for us right before this conference. What else are we seeing? We're seeing a lot of RAP coverage, OSIP coverage. So the days, and this is certainly where Rose and I agree, of chasing 80% of the money for the subcontractors and the various subcontractor counsel, that's certainly on the decline. But what is a creative plaintiff's lawyer doing in connection with that? A lot of firms now, we're certainly chasing all the subs outside the RAP. Developers' counsels are now chasing subs outside the RAP. And you do have subs outside the RAP. You're now seeing in a construction defect case, product manufacturers and product supplier claims for various forms of defective product in the various buildings. And oftentimes those claims even survive the resolution of a construction defect case. Design professionals are coming into the cases more often. They're also opening up issues of conflict with the developer's counsel if he's under the RAP. Which subs can that counsel represent or not represent? And there's no clear issue in connection with that. There's also issues with respect to carriers asserting reservation of rights. You're absolutely right. This is a very different environment from 2 years ago or perhaps even 2 weeks ago with respect to carriers. We have at least 2 carriers that walk around, show us the badge, there's a new sheriff in town. Well, we've all heard that before and before and before. But think of the problems with a rap, with a carrier asserting that, that there's reservation of rights, that there are uncovered claims. If there's uncovered claims, who's representing the subs with respect to the uncovered claims? How's that being handled? Who's representing the developer with respect to uncovered claims? And it goes back to the manuscripting of the policies. A lot of these policies either haven't been manuscripted or perhaps in-house counsel at a developer who wrote the policy or worked with it didn't really understand the risk down the road, which I think really is gravitating towards developers need to bring people on board earlier on. My firm is substantially expanding their alter ego fights, and we are both going horizontally and vertically in connection with the alter ego. Because that the single purpose LLC no longer has assets, that begs for alter ego. But let me tell you, it also begs for a whole new type of claim, which is the clawback claim. And many developers went to Delaware forming an LLC because they thought Delaware law protect corporations and partnerships well. Well, if any developer sits down and reads the Delaware clawback statute, it is affirmative, and it is much stronger than even California's clawback statute. So if you've got a Delaware formed LLC, we're seeing a lot of clawback litigation now in the local courts here applying Delaware law. So that's really where I think a lot of these aspects are moving, and they're moving very quickly.